Know what's better than two barrels? Two more. The Howder pistol was a large caliber handgun, often with two or four barrels, used in India and Africa from the beginning of the 19th century and into the early 20th century during the British Empire era. It was typically intended for defense against tigers, lions, and other dangerous animals that might be encountered in remote areas of India, Africa, South Africa, and even parts of Malaysia, Burma, and other places like that. Multi-barrel breech loading designs were often favoured over contemporary revolvers during the time due to their high velocity and higher and faster reloading potential. The term Howder pistol comes from the word howdah, a large platform mounted on the back of an elephant, and of course pistol being pistol. Hunters, particularly in the British Raj, India, used howdahs as a platform for hunting and needed a large caliber sidearm for protection against close quarter animal attacks. The practice of hunting from the howdah basket on top of an Asian elephant was made popular by the joint Anglo-Indian East India Company during the 1790s. The early howdah pistols were flintlock designs, and it was not until about 60 years later that the prosecution models of single or double barrel configurations were seen. By the late 1900s and the early 20th century, cartridge firing full rifle howdah pistols were standard. For the time they were around, of course. The first breech loading howdah pistols were little more than sawed-off rifles, typically in 5.77 Snider or 5.77/450 Martini Henry caliber. This was practical in that the huntsman could use the same ammunition for rifle and pistol, as well as being a powerful round. Later English firearm maker manufacturers specifically designed howdah pistols in both rifle caliber and standard pistol caliber, such as the 4.55 Webley and the 4.76 Enfield. As a result, the term howdah pistol is often applied to a number of English multi-barrel handguns, including the Lanchester pistol, available in a number of calibers such as G380 or the 5.77, and a variety of 5.77 revolvers produced in England and Europe for a brief period of time during the mid-19th century. A howdah pistol with its breech closed shot a subsequently higher velocity than a revolver of the same caliber, in that there was no revolver gas leakage of the cylinder, so that's why the howdah pistol was more preferred, because back then the gas leakage problem was still an issue in many revolvers. Although the howdah pistol was originally for emergency defense against dangerous animals in Africa, some parts of Asia, and of course India, British officers later carried them into personal protection and even onto battlefield use. By the late 19th century, top-rate revolvers such as the Webley Mark V with more practical calibers such as the 4.55 Webley had become widespread, removing much of the traditional marketing from the howdah pistol. It was a modernized version of the popular pepperbox pistol in the early 19th century. Early guns which had a percussion cap ignition, the Lanchester was chambered for the modern brass cartridges. It had a faster rate of fire than the standard issue Adams revolver, and it was often fitted with a tyrant trigger to overcome the heavy pull of the revolving striker. Sometimes classified as a howdah pistol, the Lanchester pistol enjoyed popularity with the officers in India and Africa during the British Raj, owing to its faster rate of fire and increased reliability over contemporary revolvers. Unlike the revolvers, it does not leak gas when fired, since there is no gap between the chambers and the barrel. Its ammunition had greater stopping power than the contemporary Bromont Adams or the Colt Navy revolvers, making it an ideal for colonial warfare. When facing charging tribesmen such as the Zulus or the Assiners, also called the Sudanese Javaschis, more modern ammunition tended to go straight through, which the enemy would still keep going and charging at the officer. What they needed was a heavy lead bullet that would lodge into their bodies and bring them down permanently. It was eventually displaced to various Webley revolvers in the late 19th century as revolvers became a more reliable and faster to reload, thus removing many of the advantages of the multi-barrel design. A few were still used in World War I at least, and we know to be a solidly built and easy to maintain. The howdah pistol, it was made for big game. And of course, the howdah pistol, if you don't know what a howdah pistol is, basically Pirates of the Caribbean and other stuff like that. But instead of being a Ahoy clone, I will let you go and Google it and look up for yourself. This one is dedicated to Marmot or Moomut. Don't know how to say that. I don't even know what kind of animal that is, but I shall go and see what it is. Anyway, there you go, bud. That's all I got to it. And yeah, it fits into World War One. Kind of a prehistoric gun because it was made in the 1790s when multi-barrel designs were actually pretty revolutionary and made more sense. But anyway, that's basically it. Don't want to be an Ahoy clone, but there's one gun I would mention. When Julia J. Auction House, or did I say it wrong? Basically Ian had this Lanchester shotgun pepperbox gun. It was pretty cool. Honestly, I thought it was a Lanchester, but it is a Lanchester, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was the Lanchester Howder. But pretty good. Go check it out. Anyway, guys, I will probably do a silhouette and make it look like a Ahoy video, but hey man, you gotta work with what you got. I mean, you gotta work with what you got. Anyway, this video is already long and I have to edit it, so hope you enjoy and I hope you learned something. And I did make I made a couple of puns, so my pun meter is pretty good. Anyway, next week we gotta start a schedule, because like I have quote unquote permanent work now, kinda, so gotta start a schedule. So yeah, but at least we'll be able to afford new equipment and stuff for a while. But until next time, guys, enjoy. Hope you learned something, and we'll talk about it later, probably like Saturday or something, probably a live stream, who knows, if everyone goes out, or if there's like one person in the house. Let's see how it goes. God bless. See you around. Learn something for the 5th time in a row.